I want to welcome everyone again today to the Gene Howard Infusion Center. My name is Harrison Howard, and I'm one of Bill and Jean Howard's 6 grandchildren. Today I'm speaking on behalf of the grandchildren, Claire and Will O'Brien, Jack and Brooke Howard, myself, and my sister, Emily Van Garderen. This project has meant a lot to the Howard family, and we're honored to have been able to name it after my grandmother. I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. I know most of you know her already, but Norma Jean Howard is one of the kindest, most elegant people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. She was beautiful, smart, caring, and funny. She loved to travel and enjoy new places. She enjoyed spending time with her family up at her vacation home in Whitefish, Montana. She enjoyed food, loved going to the theater or movies, and always seemed like she was busy enjoying her life with my grandfather. But what she loved the most was her family. She attended school functions, sporting events, marching band, and color guard competitions. Dance recitals, you name it, and she was there, so long as she wasn't traveling. She went by many names over her time: Mom, Grandma, Nana, and Jean. In 2009, my grandma was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, which came as devastating news to our family and friends. She began to receive treatment and underwent a few surgeries to help in the process of beating the cancer, and over time she would go into remission. But the cancer always seemed to find a way back. She was sick for 6 years, going through chemotherapy, oftentimes sharing a room with another patient or laying in a hospital bed. Unfortunately, she passed away in June of 2016. I know if she was here with us today, she'd be so excited to see this facility, which now offers more comfort and a relaxing atmosphere for patients receiving infusion treatment. Again, on behalf of the entire Howard family and my on behalf of the entire Howard family, we thank you and the Saddleback Hospital for making my grandpa's idea a reality. It truly means a lot to us. I'd like to leave you all with something my grandma would say often, which is love is kind. I'd now like to introduce my grandpa, Howard.
I gotta tell you a funny story about me and Howard. Probably during the last 6 months of her life, she had a couple of teeth that weren't perfectly straight on the bottom. She says, I have to get those teeth straightened out. I was more concerned with getting rid of the cancer, right? So I said, okay, fine. So she went to see the orthodontist, $2,500 cash, special deal, $3,000 if you charge it. So she said, I paid him $2,500. She comes home with his braces on the bottom. She said, how do you like them? I said, they're fine. Next morning she wakes up, she said, I'm taking them off. Can't stand them. All right, take them off. She goes back to the orthodontist. She comes home a little later. She says, he didn't charge me any more money and gave me a Invisalign. So she had a little Invisalign thing across there. So when dinner came around, she says, I have to take that off before I eat. So I helped her. She couldn't get it off, so I popped it off for her. It's not going back on, she says. I'm finished with that too. So I told her, I said, well, if you want to get your teeth straightened out, we've got to go see Dr. Hamada, who happens to be here. He's our family dentist. And so we went over to see Dr. Hamada, and Dr. Hamada talked to the orthodontist, and he said, maybe we can pull out one little tooth and it'll straighten out on its own. But we're not going to do that until you feel better. Well, unfortunately, she never felt better, passed away, and that was the end of that. But I went to the dentist about 3 months after Jean died, and Dr. Hamada came up to me and gave me a big hug. He says, you know, Bill, I want you to know Jean's in heaven and her teeth are perfectly straight. Anyway, when Jean was first diagnosed with cancer, my whole family met out here on the other side over there where the surgical waiting room is, and the surgeon came out and said, I said, how'd it go, doctor? He says, not good. He says, a lot of cancer. He says, 2 to 3 weeks to live. And it was devastating. Well, she basically lasted 7 years here. I said, not 6. But she fought the whole time. She had 7 surgeries. She had tons of chemotherapy. That's what will get me to the next portion here. She had a procedure called CyberKnife, where it's basically a radiation to your liver. She went and had surgery not only here, but a couple of big surgeries over at UCI. But she really fought a battle, but in the end, she just couldn't go any longer, and that was it. But as Cecilia and everyone else said, I'd bring her here for her chemo. First, I used to bring her here every Monday for her blood test. Every Monday we come here. It was a routine. I'd drop her in the front, I'd go park somewhere, she'd give me a text, come get me, I'd pick her up, and then we'd get the results that afternoon, how she was doing her blood test. And then if she needed maybe some extra blood, we have to go back to the hospital. They put her in the hospital, downstairs, I think the blood place was, right on the first floor. Anyway, when I'd bring her to this chemo, it was really tough because, you know, some days she didn't really feel very good, and I'd drop her in the front. I had to get the car out of the way, but I'd walk her into where she had a register, and when the registration thing, you know, you have to give them all your information again. They put a little band around her wrist, and then if I wasn't there, if I had to go park the car, then they'd get a wheelchair, take her up to 3, and then she would get in a bed up there. And it was okay. I mean, the bed was fine. The nursing staff was lovely. Jean became friends with most of them. In fact, I got a beautiful letter from one right after she died, and Cheryl's mother, which is here in the hospital, met that lady, and she said, Jean Howard was my favorite patient of all. And the lady's been here a long time. That's pretty good. So we didn't ask her to tell us that. But anyway, it was a tough battle. And sometimes she'd be next to a patient who was moaning and coming just out of surgery. I remember one time a lady says, this is sure as hell not the Marriott suite, she says. The nurse said, no ma'am, you're fine, you just had surgery. No, I'm going to the Marriott suites. That's what sometimes we had to put up with, but I understand. But the nurses were great, the doctors were great. The doctors that treated her right up in this building upstairs, and they were associated with UCI. And she loved her last doctor, Dr. Eskander. I didn't see him come in here today. He said he was coming, but he apparently didn't make it. But he's the kind of guy when she had her last time she went to the hospital, I called him. It was on a Sunday. And I said, hey, Dr. Eskander, Jean's back in the hospital, so I'll be right there. On a Sunday, he comes in with Levi's on and a t-shirt, and he gets a computer, and this other guy, the emergency room doctor, was typing stuff in. He just sort of moved him over. He said, who the hell are you? He said, hey, Dr. Eskander, I'm new on the staff. He said, I'll take care of this. Pretty good guy, huh? But anyway, she tells me it was August 16th. Well, I didn't have a dream, but I woke up during the middle of the night, which I do a lot, and I got thinking about what could I do for Jean, you know, because, you know, I was married to her for almost 56 years, and she was a sweet lady. And that's when I came up with the idea, so I called my tax lawyer, Steve Howard. I said, Steve, what can we do? He said, Dad, you gotta go down and talk to the foundation. So I think we called you, right, Cecilia? She set up a meeting and she was there, Coco over there was there. I told him, I'll tell you what. I said, what's it gonna cost to do this thing? She said, a lot of money. So I'll tell you what, I'll match up to $250 on behalf of my family. Oh, okay, they liked that. So they took that deal. And like she said, what are you up to, 750 or something?
715.
715, pretty good, huh?
Yes.
It's all you beautiful people that did it, believe me, it's fantastic. If Jean was here today, she'd say, God, they're wonderful. When I walked up and saw her picture there, it just brought tears to my eyes. She's such a beautiful lady and such a wonderful lady. She fought a great battle. I want to tell you, there's a couple of, every one of you gave money. But Don Schulerman, is that his name? I don't know him. I had lunch with him one day with Stephen. This guy keeps giving so much money to this organization. Next thing you know, he's going to come out here and say, I want to change the name to Don Schulerman. Then my sister and brother-in-law, where are they back there? Chuck and Alice, Diorio, and my other sister, Pat and Dave Augustine. They were huge donors. They got their name on the big wall out there. When I played against them, I would say, hey, Dave, you know, Charlie didn't, he gave this much. Oh, I'll give a little more. And I said, I called Charlie, Charlie, he gave this much. I'll give a little bit more. I raised a lot of money. But that's all I have to say today. It's just good people like you. We're gonna have some kind of a toast.
We are, you're gonna do that.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Steve, you want to say anything? I know you're not on the agenda, but I think
I'll give the toast.
Steve was with me all the way on this because he knows how to do it.
This wasn't planned. No, I again, thank you everybody for doing all this. When we met, we didn't know what to expect. And one thing we didn't mention is, I think you guys were already somewhat planning this, right? I think there was some drawings.
There was a thought of the fact that we needed to do this for our cancer program and our cancer patients. So the timing was really good.
But then we didn't
Yes.
know if you were telling the truth. But we noticed but in the drawings, they were dated about 6 months prior. So
Right.
we knew you were being truthful with us, so we appreciated that. But I enjoy this today, and let's hope we never come back.
None of us.
Thank you. Cheers.
Anybody have booze in their hand, to Gene Howard and this whole thing and all you donors. We appreciate everything, really.